Hello and welcome to another episode of the Bag Lady Show. Hey, remember to like us, follow us on Facebook, share us. You can go and subscribe to our YouTube channel, give us reviews. Thank you for being along with us, and thank you for joining the Bag Lady tribe. As always, you can go to thebagladyshow.com and you can choose from a bunch of beautiful bags that you buy a bag, you help a cause, and you change a life. So thank you for being here with us.
Yes.
And I guess yesterday was the National Random Acts of Kindness Day. So,
And if people don't know what that is, it's just where you help or you cheer somebody up by doing something for them.
Easy enough. So what are some of your favorite ways to cheer people up or do random acts of compassion and kindness?
Well, I'll just share some that maybe I haven't done all of these, but I've heard these and I just think they're awesome ideas. Just a few to give you some ideas. One of them is, I thought this was really neat. Help a janitor. Now, they do a thankless job. And wouldn't it be cool, janitor in your school or janitor in a Walmart or somewhere, and they're mopping away. Hey, give me the mop. Let me help you do that. I just think that was so cool. Another idea that I read about, and I'm going to do this, is put an extra umbrella in your car. And then when it's raining cats and dogs someday, you roll down your window or you press your button actually and give somebody an umbrella.
I love that. I love
that's
that.
Really neat.
You don't need an umbrella often, but man, when you do.
When you need one, you need one. One day, my husband Andy and I were driving around town, and it was one of those, blistering hot days. And there were some construction workers, and it was, they were working with, paving roads. It was just so hot. We said, hey, let's go get them some water bottles. And so we went and did that, and they were just so appreciative. It was, it was something that maybe you don't think about. Hey, they can get their own water, but it was a neat thing to do. And we really had a lot of fun.
Oh, I love that. I remember growing up, when you would have houses built with our uncle and different things, the workers would come and you guys would go with pizza and water, and you guys were always kind of showing those random acts of kindness in your daily lives. I love that. And
it's so much fun. It's just so much fun to brighten up somebody else's day, do something for somebody else. It's just rewarding. How about you? What are some of your...
It's so rewarding. One of my favorite things to do is to just be calm and patient while driving.
Yeah.
I realized probably about 5-6 years ago, we have a chronic road rage epidemic. And it's not just in America, it's worldwide. It's anywhere true. You're driving. And so I started taking that time to breathe and to be kind, let people merge in, thinking, okay, I have no idea what they're going through today. So let me just be kind in my driving. I think that's a huge one.
It is.
It sounds like it's not. I feel if we all could be more kind on the road.
Yeah, people feel like I'm so entitled.
I heard a comedian once, and he says, you don't hear people get in the car, you're walking behind an older gentleman with his cane, and you're not saying, "Hey, old man, get out of the way!" And we get in our
cars, and we're just,
and all of a sudden we're
of the world.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So that's one of my favorite ones. I still love, if I am getting some coffee in the morning or a breakfast burrito, I still love buying the person's behind me. And sometimes it happens to me, and it just feels so exciting and sweet that a complete stranger is doing a little act of kindness. Like I love that one. I still do that one. And
so Shonna, let me ask you a question. Did you do a random act of kindness yesterday?
Well, besides leaving extra quarters at the laundromat.
Ooh, that's a neat one.
I think I did have a couple of things up my sleeve yesterday.
And I think we got them on video.
Oh, boy.
And we're calling this segment Undercover Compassion. And so she went around to a few places undercover and did some random acts of kindness where people didn't even know she was doing them. And you're going to enjoy the video, but we also are going to invite you to do your own undercover compassion video.
So watch our video, see if you can get some ideas, and then send us your videos, hashtag us, tag us on Facebook and these different things. This is a tribe. We're doing this together.
And so enjoy Undercover Compassion.
With the drying of the clothes?
Wow, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. $10 of quarters. Okay, so I've got this $20 bill, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to slip it into somebody's pocket without them knowing. Let's go.
Oh, I love her. Oh, that's sweet.
Shonna, that was a lot of fun. And we want you guys to make your own video, Undercover Compassion. We want to show it. And
yeah, just get out your phone. And when you record, make sure you record sideways. I don't know. It's a tip I got from a producer one time. And send those into us and hashtag us. We want to see your ideas of how you can be undercover, compassion, fun people in our community. So tag us on that. And thank you for coming along with us.
I want to introduce our special guest. We're going to be doing an interview with him in just a few moments. His name is Ron Price, and he is a relational coach, a motivational speaker, and he has an amazing book called Play Nice in the Sandbox. And since we're still in February, we're talking about relationships, you are going to want to listen to this. So turn off the news. It's all bad news anyway. Okay. Right. This is going to be great information and a lot of fun. Turn that off, get a cup of coffee, relax, and you're going to get a lot out of how to play nice in the sandbox.
Absolutely. Enjoy.
Well, hello, everybody. And we are here today with Ron Price. He is an author, speaker. He owns Productive Outcomes. He just has a wealth of knowledge for us here today, and we're looking forward to it. It's going to be on relationships. But before we get into that, our listeners really always like a good story. So we like to peel back the layers a little bit, let people know who Ron Price is and a little bit about your background and your growing up and maybe how you had some influences that led to what you do, so on and so forth. So
hello,
take
Ron.
it away.
All right, but I hope you have some time because I was born last century. My story starts last millennium. So
Are you like from the dinosaur era?
Sounds that way, doesn't it? Seriously,
right.
I started life in Providence, Rhode Island. I was the middle of 3 children born into a somewhat Jewish family. By somewhat, I mean by ethnicity, 100%, by identification, 100%, by practice of religion, 20%.
Okay.
You've heard of Christmas and Easter Christians, of course. We were Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur Jews. We went to services on the high holidays. Now, as a child, I was I want to say encouraged. The correct word is forced to go to Hebrew school.
Same difference.
Trying to be politically correct here.
Okay.
But I was bar mitzvahed at 13,
Wow.
but it meant nothing to me.
Okay.
I want to say this so carefully. Judaism teaches a system of religion, a system of worship. It does not teach a relationship with God. Now, that's my personal opinion.
Sure.
Maybe it was there and I missed it.
Okay.
But after my bar mitzvah, I was a man, and I'll never forget. I went to my dad. Dad said, "Did he say?" Oh no, he came to me and he said, "Ron, you're a man now." I said, "Yeah, that's pretty cool." He said, "Well, you have some decisions to make." I said, "Oh yeah, like what?" He said, "Well, do you want to continue going to Hebrew school?" I said, "Is it really my decision?" He said, "Yes." I said, "No."
Wow.
It was
Wow.
just
He let you make that decision. Okay.
in fairness, he was a single father.
Okay.
He lost his wife, who happened to be my mom, 5 years earlier. My mom died when she was just 36.
Oh my.
I was just 8. And you want to talk about life-shaping events.
Yes.
Boy, that's right up there. That's one of two in my life. And he was a good dad. He's gone now too, but he was a good dad and he tried hard, but it was an expense that he didn't see much value in either.
Sure.
We can be honest here.
Yeah.
And so I think he was relieved to hear me say, "No, that's okay. Dad. Put your money somewhere." So when I left the religion, any practice of religion, I left God. I just figured there can't be a God. If there's a God, why do children die? Why do mothers die at young ages? Why do wars happen? And if there is a God, he's doing a pretty lousy job of running the world. That was my opinion.
Yeah.
And so I became an atheist. I just didn't give it any thought. I wasn't anti-God. He was not part of my life. And I then made some decisions that many of my generation made, in imbibing in substances that we don't need to brag about now, but that I look back with regret. If I could change some things in my life, that would be one of them. But I was in Rhode Island. I had graduated from the University of Rhode Island with a bachelor's degree in sociology, and I was just hanging out, not really doing anything. 2 friends the year before had worked at a ski area in Ruidoso, New Mexico, and I had no idea what or where Ruidoso, New Mexico was. Didn't know how to ski, but you know what? It wasn't Rhode Island.
Yeah.
It sounded good to me. So I called them up. I said, "Hey, can I come out and work?" They said, "Sure, come on." So I got 2 friends. We built a camper shell on one of his trucks, one of the friends' trucks, and we headed west. And in fact, I remember this too. I called them a week before and I said, "We're on our way." And they said, "Who are you?" we don't have a job for you. I said, "You know what? I'm coming anyway." I was.
How exciting!
That's cool.
Really,
An
adventure. Exciting.
Adventure.
It was an adventure. I was 25, and we headed out to Ruidoso, and I've been a Westerner ever since.
Wow.
And ski bum for a couple of years, working at the ski area, got into oil and gas leasing and traveled around different places. And one of those places was Cortez, Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
And in Cortez, Colorado is where I really found the Lord. Oh, look at that. Isn't that rude? It's the governor, but I'll tell her to wait.
Oh, okay.
Tell her
I'll
get back
tell
to
her
her.
I'm with more important people, and I'll call her back.
Aw, shucks.
Oh.
Yeah. You don't believe me, do you? Anyway, I'm sorry about that.
It's okay.
But I really got in with some people who were studying the Bible, and I found out who Jesus Christ was. Now, growing up, I had heard his name. All you Christian kids got gifts at Christmas. I was a little bit envious, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
I would always hear his name. If somebody hit their thumb with a hammer, I would hear his name. If somebody got money stuck in a coin machine, hear his name. But I had no idea who he was. And as I look back, people tried to tell me. I can remember times when people tried to tell me about. I said, "Thanks for sharing. Goodbye." Or, I'm glad it works for you. I'm not interested. And I wasn't ready. This time I was. And I decided, you know what? This is what I've been looking for. It's not drugs. It's not running around doing stupid stuff, self-destructive stuff. This is the answer to my search. Sign me up. And so October 13th, 1979, I entered the watery grave of baptism, came out a new man. Now, some people still think there's some growth to be done, and I'm one of those who believe that.
We're always in process.
Work in progress, but yeah. But my he took my tastes for that I thought were pleasure. No, he replaced them with the good stuff, the peace, the joy that passes all understanding, and he has a never-ending supply to give, I should say. So, how's that for a story? Is that
okay? I've known you for so many years. Never knew any of that. Yeah. I thank you for sharing that. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
It really gives all of us some insight into who you are. And so you ended up in Farmington at some point from Cortez. And at some point you started Productive Outcomes and been working with relationships and with people, businesses, all kinds of things to help people. And when did you become an author?
Oh, well, 2016 is the answer to that question, but hold on, I'm having a discussion here. I don't know if I should.
I'm not the only one.
Let me go back and add a piece to my story. I think I can. We have 3 hours for this interview, don't
we? And he's a comedian too.
Metric hours. I'm a humorist.
Yes.
In Ruidoso, I married a mistake woman. Now, she wasn't the mistake, but the marriage was a mistake. Again, it was in my BC days, and we didn't make it 2 years.
Okay.
No kids. So when we got divorced, but that divorce shook me. And I left Ruidoso and roundabout, ultimately, that's when I got to Cortez. But that divorce, again, it shook me. I never saw myself as somebody who violated commitments, even though I didn't understand Christ and honoring and all the rest. But it shook me. But anyway, he introduced me to a lady in September of 79. We didn't start dating until March of 80. We put off the engagement clear into August of 80, and the wedding, we put that all the way off to December of 80. Okay, that was pretty quick.
I'm trying to do the math, and all I can think was, well, I was born in 80.
But we just celebrated our 40th wedding anniversary.
Wow, congratulations.
A few weeks ago. I call her my forever wife.
There you go.
But in 87, I saw an ad in the Daily Times. Now, I was gainfully employed. In fact, I was a probation parole officer, and I enjoyed it. I was content. But there was an ad in the paper. They were starting a new program on divorce mediation. And ladies, I got to tell you, I had no idea what that was. No idea whatsoever. But I was drawn to it. I was compelled. I don't even know why I was looking in the want ads. Well, yes, I do, because I needed to see that ad. And
that's right.
So I got more information. I signed on. And for the next 29 years of my life, I was a court-appointed mediator for the 11th Judicial District Court here in New Mexico. For 29 years, I put myself between divorcing parents who had to figure out a way to work together for the sake of their children. You want to talk about tough duty?
Oh, yeah.
People who really didn't like each other very much, but had to find a way to work together. They weren't going to be spouses anymore, but they were still going to be parents. And it was a very rewarding work. It really was. And I started going to trainings on learning about conflict prevention, conflict resolution, and things of that nature. For 30 years, I had wanted to write a book.
Wow.
By the way, that's true. I think 80% of Americans feel they have a book within them and they want to write a book. Oh yeah.
That's neat. That's a neat insight. I've never thought about that. Wow.
Absolutely true. I think I'm talking to 2 folks right here.
Yeah, we all have a story.
And she wrote her book, so I guess it's my turn.
It's your turn.
There you go. We'll wait. But when I say it took me 30 years to write the book, it was 28 and a half wanting to write it. And I finally
did.
Sat down and wrote Play Nice in Your Sandbox at Work in 2016. And it's funny, I was outside of Atlanta, Georgia. I could drive to that spot right now, and I vividly remember it, where God gave me the Play Nice acronym. I had been kind of toying with the title Play Nice in Your Sandbox, just because people ask me, where did you grow up? I say, I'm trying to do it in Farmington, New Mexico.
Still growing up.
Why grow up? I mean, be an adult, be responsible, be
There you go.
mature, relatively. But once you grow up, then what? What's left?
I love that.
That's good.
I love that. It's
I
so
do.
interesting because you watch a
Yes.
child and they do everything with everything they have and with
Yeah.
love and joy and
Yeah.
Abandon.
gusto. And I agree. Why do that? Being a grown up is overrated.
Amen.
And by the way, Play Nice in the Sandbox. That is a fabulous title.
Yeah, cool title.
I mean, for years I was a songwriter, and you always have to have a hook. You know, boy, is that ever a fabulous hook. But anyway, go ahead.
Here's what makes it even more fabulous. I was sitting there. I was going to give a talk the next morning. I was in a class learning how to be a better speaker, and I had to give a talk the next morning. And all of a sudden, the Play Nice acronym came to me all at once. I had to slow down. So wait, grab a pen and paper. The P is push the pause button. The L is list of 10. The A is assume good intent. The Y is yield. The N is, come on now, negotiate with, not against the other person. The I is identify key issues. The C is cooperate for mutual benefit. And the E is explore options. There was the acronym that wrote the book, Play Nice in Your Sandbox at Work.
Wow.
In 2018, I followed that up with Play Nice in Your Sandbox at Home, which if I leave you any time, I think that's what we're going to talk about.
That's what we're going to do. Yeah. Yeah. We want to talk about that. Relationships with marriage. And
there you go. And again, same thing. It's an acronym. Play is prevent conflict. Nice is resolve conflict. And just a few months ago came out with the newest one, Play Nice in Your Sandbox at Church, which I think is the dumbest title you've ever heard. Because we shouldn't need a book telling Christians they ought to get along and how to do it. I thought the Bible already did that.
Well, you're breaking it down in everyday language for people. Yes. And, a lot of times, we can read the Bible all of our lives and we miss things. And let me just give an example because it fits into what we're talking about. Rick Warren, who is very well known as a pastor in California, and he wrote The Purpose-Driven Church, and he's got doctor's degrees, but he missed, and the church missed, the social gospel about poverty and about helping the vulnerable. We're good on the evangelistic side, but on the social gospel side, many evangelicals have missed that. Well, his wife started in the 90s reading about AIDS and Africa and the devastation. And she kept saying, we got to do something about it. We got to do something about it. And he goes, okay, that's your thing, but that's not the vision of our church, Saddleback. She wouldn't let up. And finally he started reading about AIDS and orphans in Africa and the devastation and where is the church. And he realized, how did I miss it? How did I miss it? And so many people have missed the social gospel. And it's interesting. I tell people there was a rock star by the name of Bono who really came at the forefront of AIDS and said, what is the church doing? Africa is being wiped out. Yep. And so it's interesting that we can all read the Bible, but we can miss it. So, but go ahead.
No, I think I'm ready for you.
Yeah. So we're just talking.
I want to say. But you're so right. You're so right. So yeah, I did. I my prayer was always, Lord, you write, I'll type.
There you go.
And I feel like it came out okay. There's some useful tips that people can apply in their lives to have healthier relationships at work, at home, or at church.
So let's talk about Play Nice in Your Sandbox at Home, because we want to focus on that one, on relationships, marriage relationships in particular. And even if you're not married, these are good principles to put to your lives, or whether it's, like you say, your book, your model that God gave you applies to work, to home, to church, wherever. But we want to focus on this Play Nice in Your Sandbox at Home, and marital in particular relationships. So take it away.
Well, let's start with the P. And we don't have to cover all of them, but the P in the at home book is play. life, if we're not careful, and again, talk about being grown-ups,
Right.
we forget the importance of having fun in the
Yes.
relationship. And if you're not careful, after a while, life can become raising the kids and paying the bills.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or is it
Monday.
paying the kids and raising the bills? I think it's both. But you know
It
what?
is.
And fun, well, we'll get to that someday. No, you won't.
No, you
No,
won't.
you won't, unless
You
you're
don't make time.
intentional.
All you
right.
have is the now. What
right.
all you have is right now.
You've
right.
got to make time.
That's right. So in the book, I talk about some specific things that couples can do to have date nights, to have fun in their relationship, because it's not overrated, I promise you.
No.
And one of the suggestions, this is post-COVID, pre and post-COVID, is if you have young children, find another couple that you trust and respect that have young children, and you agree to watch their kids while they go off for an evening or even a weekend at times. And then they'll reciprocate. They'll watch your kids while you do that. So
it doesn't cost any money then.
Not only that, that's a big plus, absolutely. But you're leaving your kids with people that you trust, and your kids are with kids that they can play. And so they're not going to miss you at all. They're going to want you to go out more often.
That's right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can we have date night 3 or 4 times a week, Mom?
Yeah. Can we? So play.
Wow.
Now is look for the good. You know, I'll often ask people, go ahead and write down 3 to 5 faults about your mate, 3 to 5 qualities about your mate that they or you are not going to brag about. Go. And they'll write them down. I say, now write down 3 to 5 positive qualities that are admirable, and go. And then I'll stop and say, which list was easier to write? Well, it's going to depend on the condition of the relationship. If it's struggling, oh man, I got to stop at 5. I want to keep going.
Right.
If it's going well, oh man, I can only list 5. There's so many that I can admire.
Ron, I love this idea because I was just talking to my cousin the other day, and this can apply to friendships, any relationship. And I called her and I was just complimenting her on what an amazing mom she was. And I told her, it's interesting. What I've been doing is if I think of somebody and I think a happy thought of them, I'm either going to call them, I'm going to text them, I'm going to start putting out the good, because it's real easy to nag. And so thank you. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, there's lots of research about the impact of gratitude and expressing it and showing it. And you remember back in the day, people would write thank you notes.
Yeah. I still do that.
She still does.
For the sake of our younger viewers, you would get an envelope, you'd get a pen, you'd get a stamp, you put it in the mailbox. These are terms that I think a lot of people don't.
What's
I
that?
don't know what those are, but you write a thank you note, you're going to feel good about it for a couple of weeks. So Shonna, you're onto something.
Yeah.
You are blessing the other person.
Yes, you are.
But you're blessing yourself in the process.
Yeah,
absolutely.
They're going to experience a joy from that for like 30 days, I think is what the research says.
Really?
So make it a habit, look for the good. And one tip I encourage people is wake up in the morning and get an index card and write down 5 positive qualities about your life, about your relationship, your spouse, whatever. Put it on an index card, take it with you. And during the day, every so often, take that out and look at it. And in the hustle and bustle of life and the challenges and the disappointments and the frustrations, say, you know what, wait a minute though. What about this? And it's a great protection.
Yes.
Make sure we have a right attitude, a God-honoring, people-honoring attitude.
Yeah, and if you have it all day long like that, if you're having to wait in line and you're getting frustrated, or your creditor is calling, or something's going on, it can remind you, hey, this is little stuff. This is no big deal.
Yeah. And I often challenge people, go back a year, 2 years, whatever, your worst day that you can remember, and ask yourself this question: how many billions of people on this planet would have traded places with you on that day? Now, I'm not suggesting a loss of a loved one or something like that, but I'm just talking pressures and challenges and difficulties and, this is terrible. How many billions of people would trade places? You take their problems, they take yours.
Wow, that's powerful.
If you're an American, and Ronna, you know this with all your travels, you know this very well.
Yeah.
We have nothing to complain about.
Nothing to complain
Nothing.
about. Nothing to complain about. So let me do a couple more. Are we okay?
Oh, keep
All right.
going.
Yeah,
This is
great.
awesome. Keep going.
All right. So the play is prevent conflict. If you're playing more, if you're looking for the good, you're not avoiding conflict. You're preventing it from happening.
you
You're being
go.
in the first
proactive.
place.
Yeah, be preventive.
There you go.
Proactive. Yeah.
The A is admit when you're wrong, and the Y is yield. Let me let you
Yeah,
in
go
on a
into
little
that.
secret. In all books, the Y word is yield. There just aren't a
Not
lot
a
of
lot of
words
Y
in
words,
English
are there?
language. Yeah. But the yield in that workbook is yield to understand people. At home, it's yield to others' interests. Philippians 2, 1 through 5, put others' interests ahead of
Ahead
your
of
own.
your own.
Oh, Ron, you're bringing up so many. This is amazing. My granddad pastors a church, and we were just talking about there's a lot of Dene in the church, and they said they taught him whenever somebody comes to you with a conflict or something, they say, "Give me 1 day before I respond." 1 day.
Mhm.
That yield is so important because we don't respond out of ego and our own past
Anger.
hurts. Or that's beautiful. I
That's
love it.
awesome.
Yield.
Great point. Great point. I like that, Shonna. Thank you. All right. So let's get into the resolve conflict.
Yes.
The N is one of my favorite chapters. Never threaten the long-term view. Ronna, I'm going to put you on the spot.
Okay.
You and Andy have been married how long now?
45.
Okay. Wow. Right. Good. Right on.
Yeah.
I'm going to take it back. I don't want to put you on the spot because
We were kids.
you were kids. I know
we
you were.
We were high school sweethearts, and we married after high school.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, let me retract that. Let me put it to yourself. We've been married 40 years. Over the 40 years, I'm going to guess that I have considered divorce 12 times. I don't know. I'm just looking back. 12 times I was so angry, so upset. I said, you know what? I thought this is ridiculous. I don't have to put up with this. I can do better. I'm going to leave. How many times do you think my wife has heard me say, we're done?
0?
None.
Yeah.
And I am more proud of that, perhaps, than anything else I can lay
Sure.
claim
Good.
to in life.
Again.
Because when you say those words, you're so angry, you're so upset. Maybe we ought to just end this. Maybe I ought to just leave, whatever. You're going to calm down. You're going to get to the place where, you know what, this too shall pass. You won't feel that way, but the damage has been done.
Ooh, yeah.
So what do you recommend in those moments when people feel that way? What did you do in those 12 moments to calm yourself down to where you didn't actually speak that into existence?
Yeah. One of my favorite techniques that I teach is call a timeout the right way.
Oh.
An emphasis on the right way, because a lot of times when we call a timeout the wrong way, we make it worse, not better. So
Okay.
you have a part of your brain that thinks, the frontal lobe. It's the command center of the brain. In fact, this is interesting. God says, come, let us reason together.
Yeah.
If you put somebody in an MRI machine and you tell them to pray, to praise, to sing a hymn, it's the frontal lobe that lights up. God meets us. Isn't that fascinating?
Yeah.
God meets us in our thinking brain. It's a great place to operate from. We also have the amygdala, or the limbic system, the seat of emotions. If we're happy, we're sad, we're frustrated, we're excited. That's a different part of our brain that's in operation. Now, we need both.
Yes.
But the emotional brain should never be the decision-making brain.
Good.
And that's the fight or flight, the amygdala, where is that the
Exactly right. Fight, flight, or freeze. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if we let emotions take over our thinking, that's where road rage happens. That's where a lot of things happen that are followed by, oops, I shouldn't have done that.
Yes.
I don't know what I was thinking. Well, the answer is you weren't.
You weren't.
No, you were just emoting. And so the answer to your question, Shonna, is you take a time out. You say, you know what, hold on. I'm too upset.
Right.
If we talk right now, I'm going to say something I don't want to say. I'm going to do something I don't want to do. Time out. But you got to follow it up with, but I will be back in an hour. I will be back at 2:00. We can talk about this evening. Okay. You let the person know it's time out, not cop out. You're not refusing to discuss the issue. You're just postponing it until you can be
That's awesome.
more
I like
calm.
that because there can be abandonment issues with I'm leaving, and people think, oh, you're abandoned. There's a lot of different things that go along with that. So that's good.
Or I'm going to sweep it under the rug.
Or just stuff it in and not. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. No, that's exactly right. And that's why I say call the timeout the wrong way is, timeout, and you storm off.
Okay.
Well, you're leaving the person behind going, wait a minute, are you rejecting me? Are you rejecting the relationship? Are you abandoning me? As you said, Shonna, they don't know. So if they care about you, they've got to come after you, which is going to further exasperate you and make you want to walk faster and further, which is going to, and you do that dance between the talker and the walker.
Wow.
Right. And then the other person feels like the other person's being needy or it's a vicious cycle.
Yeah.
So all the one who wants to walk, all they have to say is, you know what, time out, not right now. We'll talk about this later, I promise. And you set the time.
Follow through.
And you follow through. That's exactly right. Because you only get one shot. If you don't follow through, the next time you try to call a timeout,
they're going to trust
you.
They're
not so good. My wife and I have a 9 o'clock timeout rule across the board. We've had it for years. If it gets to be 9 o'clock, we know we're tired. We're not at our best. It's not going to go well. And people are thinking, let the sun go down on your anger. You know what? I'm not angry. I'm going to bed. But we have a 9 o'clock timeout. And it's incredible how many times I wake up in the morning going, what was that all about?
Exactly.
I bet.
Exactly.
Because if we're tired or we're hungry or we're anything
agitated,
we're not going to be bringing forth our best.
No.
So you call a timeout before you say those ugly words, those destructive words that send shockwaves through the other person. You call a timeout, you recompose. Timeout should be at least 30 minutes to get your physiological systems back to normal range, but no more than 24 hours except by mutual benefit.
Okay.
And call it timeout. So just don't threaten the long-term view. Take the word divorce out of your vocabulary.
Yeah.
Because if it is in your vocabulary, if it isn't an option, you are much more likely to resort to that option.
Exactly.
If it's not an option, you're going to figure out ways to get yourself to a better place and be glad you did.
Mm-hmm.
So,
absolutely, because if you don't do it, you're just going to take those problems with you to another relationship.
Yeah. Do you ever know about that?
Because there's no two people that are going to get along all the time ever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The problem with marriage, if I may, is it's imperfect people trying to forge a perfect relationship.
Sure.
Not gonna.
No.
You need to know that if you marry somebody, you are going to have times where you're not going to like them very much. They're not going to like you very much.
That's right.
Okay. And it's in the imperfection that we learn about each other and we grow and we can heal past pains that maybe doesn't even have to do with our partner, but we bring it into the relationship.
Sure.
And so perfection, maybe the imperfection is the perfection of the relationship.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting.
My expectations, and excuse me, but I read that one time. One of the problems with marriage is too high expectations. Listen, this is not utopia we're talking about here. This is day to day, mundane, difficult kind of things, and we put this expectation on it. Also, you complete me. You do something for me rather than marriage being, what can I do for you?
Right.
And how can I serve you?
And a lot of times those expectations are not voiced. Now, I happen to think that one gender is more guilty of this than the other, but since I'm outnumbered today, I'm not going to say which gender that is.
No, I would agree that women expectation
romance.
It's more expected without being voiced, and it's
if you really loved me, I shouldn't have to tell you.
That's the weirdest thing ever to say. I mean, I get it because I've thought it.
Ladies, if you quote me, I'll deny I ever said this, but we men are not that bright. Don't give us that much credit to think that we're going to know. So there's nothing wrong with expectations unless, Ronna, like you said, they're too high. They're unreachable. Forget it. But they got to be voiced. If you want them met, hey, this is what I need from you. So look at the 5 love languages.
Yes. I love that one.
Chapman. I've got an inventory that I share with people on the top 10 relational needs. Let me do these really quickly.
Good.
Please.
Top 10 emotional needs. I wasn't planning on this, so let's see if I
They're
can
still there.
get them into the frontal lobe here. Affection.
Mm-hmm.
Affection. And not just sexual and intimate, but just the arm around or the holding hands or the rubbing the hair or whatever. Affection. Acceptance. Do you accept me for who I am?
Mm-hmm.
Appreciation.
Mm-hmm.
Do you appreciate me for what I do?
What I do.
Approval. Do you approve of me as a human being? And a big one, attention. Do I matter to you? Do I get enough attention from you? What is that? Oh, that wasn't the governor.
It was.
I thought I shut that off. I don't know why it rang again. I apologize. Comfort.
Mm.
Another one. We can only comfort ourselves so much. We need comfort coming from outside of ourselves.
Yes.
Comfort, respect, because again, we should respect ourselves, but we need others to respect us. Security.
Yes.
Security.
That's a big, don't you think that is the issue for women?
Yeah.
I've heard security for women, competence for men, but that's a big one for us.
Yeah. Security, support is another one, and I'm going to blitz out on the 10th one. So
That's
hold on.
right.
Acceptance, affection, appreciation, approval, attention, comfort, encouragement, support, security.
Well, if it comes to you, that's all right. We've got enough to wrap our minds around in. And
but there is an inventory that people can do. They can answer 50 questions and it'll spit out what your top 3 needs are, what your mate's top 3 needs are. And if you know those, you've got a better chance of meeting those needs, meeting those expectations, as you were saying.
Yeah. And it's like you said, with the 5 love languages, usually we give what we want ourselves instead of giving what our partner needs. They can be completely different.
Right. The one I missed just came to my mind. It's encouragement. And boy, we need that. Life is hard.
Yeah.
And we get down on ourselves so much that we need encouragement. You know what? You're doing okay. You're doing good. God loves you. I love you.
Attaboy.
Going. Yeah. Attaboy, attagirl. There you go.
Yeah.
The one that just jumps out at me is loving unconditionally.
Mm.
You know, if you don't go into marriage saying, I love you unconditionally, and it's going to be very frustrating. Marriage is going to be very frustrating, you know, and no matter what you do, my love is not based on the fact that you're perfect or that everything's going to go smoothly. I love you unconditionally. And I know that maybe that's a little high expectation, but if we don't at least go to that, only God can completely love people unconditionally.
All right. Let me go ahead.
But it's got to be. It's still got to be in the overall spectrum of things.
Yeah. Let me jump to the At Church book, because the favorite chapter of any that I've written is the L chapter in At Church.
Good.
It's love yourself as you love your neighbor.
Good.
Now, anybody who's even vaguely familiar with the Bible will say, Ron, you got that backwards. It's love your neighbor as you love yourself. That's what it says, but that's the problem.
That's right. I agree.
We do love our neighbor the way we love ourselves.
That's
and
right.
We don't have, most of us, a healthy love and self-acceptance and self-respect. Well, if I don't love myself, how can I love somebody else? If I don't respect myself, how can I respect somebody else? So here's what I'm working on these days. I want to know, and I do know, but I want to know that God loves me. God loves me, and he knows me better than I know myself.
That's right.
He loves me. So if I'm loved by the sovereign ruler, the creator, the God of the universe, if I'm loved by him, guess what? I must be lovable.
That's right.
So I can love myself. I can be at peace with myself. And once I do that, I can love my neighbor. I can be at peace with my neighbor. And sometimes my neighbor is my spouse or my child or whoever.
Right.
So,
You're not going to give a gift to someone that you don't like. When you go to the store to pick out a birthday gift for somebody, you're not going to give them something that you wouldn't like yourself. You're not going to give yourself as a gift away if you don't like yourself. Mm-hmm. You don't love yourself if you don't have that healthy view
Right.
of, like you say, of how God views you.
Yeah.
And go ahead. This is great.
Yeah. All right, we can go back to the I then
Yes.
of At Home book, and that's insist on win-win. I've got a great story to tell. And by
Good.
the way, in the book, I interviewed various people. I interviewed a guy named Mike Hattabaugh. That should
Oh,
sound
yes.
familiar to you.
Yes. Yes.
I
We know
interviewed
well.
several. I know you do. I interviewed several others, and I recorded those interviews, and I put a QR code. So
Okay.
as people are reading the book, they can jump on that QR code with a QR
Okay.
scanner, and the interview will pop up. Well, one of those was with a Dr. Robert Paul. He's with Focus on the Family. By the way, let me say this. Focus on the Family has a marriage, restore marriage. It's a program for couples who think they're done. They're put a
Wow.
fork in it. It's over. We're done. If they'll go to this marriage restore weekend, I will wager, I'll give you 80, 90% odds you're going to come back in love again,
Wow.
rejuvenated, and let's do this. It's an amazing program. I'm familiar
Putting
with
a
one
plug
that's
in.
very
Good.
similar.
Good.
I'm sorry?
You're putting a plug in.
Well,
That's good.
that's
Yeah.
great.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's
Get
good.
a hold of Focus on the Family.
Okay.
I think it's Marriage Restore Weekend. I'm pretty sure that they do it in Branson, Missouri. So another good reason to go.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But Dr. Paul tells the story about his son. Now the I is insist on win-win. Dr. Paul tells a story about it. He was having an argument with his son, his 12-year-old son. And I don't know what the argument was about, but it was causing some friction. And so Dr. Paul went into his son's room and they talked it out. And he thought it was resolved. It was okay. But that night at dinner, boy, the son was giving obvious signs that it wasn't done. He was kind of grumpy. And so Dr. Paul said, son, let me ask you something. When we talked earlier, who won and who lost? What do you mean, Dad? I do a good 12-year-old, by the way.
That was good.
That's good.
I mean, who came out ahead? Who came out behind? You won, Dad. I didn't. No, son, that's where you're wrong. He said, can you imagine a baseball game that you might win and Chucky might lose? He played on a baseball team with a friend named Chucky. No. Can you imagine a game that Chucky might win and you might lose? No. Why not, son? Because we're on the same team, Dad. Exactly, son.
Right.
You and I are on the same team. We're family. And if you feel like I won, then I didn't win anything.
All right.
We're going to talk some more about this.
Good. That's a great story.
Isn't it a great story? It's
Yeah.
win. And that goes back to something you said, Ronna, about we're in this together and unconditional love and knowing we're going to disagree at times. Okay. And it goes back to what you said, Shonna, that by those differences, we can learn about each other. We can help each other heal from past wounds. We can grow together. That's God's plan for marriage. So insist on win-win. And if you don't have win-win yet, okay. You know, there's a Bible verse that says all things work together for good in the end. So if they're not working right now, it must not be the end.
That's right.
Keep going.
Don't stop.
I like that.
Don't give
I
up.
like that.
Don't give
Keep
up.
seeking God's wisdom. Do what it says in Proverbs 1. Cry out for wisdom. I'm on the two things this year. I'm looking for wisdom and humility. If I can master those two, this is going to be a great year. Now, the wisdom is easy to understand. We all need wisdom. The humility is hard. Now, I don't know that you're going to understand this, but when you're as good looking as I am, when you're as intelligent as I am, when you're
Yeah, it's tough.
already as humble as I am, that
I
humility.
It must
Okay,
be
that's
hard.
that's a little more Ron foolery for you, but seriously, we have God's wisdom. He offers it to us. Why don't we grab it? And when we're having a struggle in our relationships, why don't we fall to our knees, hold on to the cross, hold on for dear life, and ask God? Because as each person is growing closer to Christ, by definition, they're growing closer together. And I definitely believe God can heal all differences.
And don't you think that marriage is also a way that we become more like Christ?
Oh, yeah.
Because you have to get out of yourself. You have to think of the other person. All of those attributes that we need to become like Christ, we learn in marriage. And I think that's one of the reasons why God instituted it, is because it does force us to become more Christ-like. You have to get out of yourself.
Let me tell you the book that you should have written, but you can't because somebody else already did.
Oh,
Gary
story of my life.
Thomas.
Day late in the dog.
Gary Thomas wrote the book Sacred Marriage. And the subtitle is, Ronna, what if God gave us marriage not to make us happy, but to make us holy? What if God gave us marriage as a proving ground, a living laboratory, whereas just what you said, will you stop?
Okay. Okay, Ron.
Now you're fired.
Now you're getting on my nerves.
I know. I'm only popular when I'm busy with other people.
And I would like to say something too for people who are single out there too. It doesn't mean that you have to go into a relationship, or it doesn't mean that you need to stay in an abusive relationship.
No, thank you. No.
I mean, none of that.
No.
Is.
There's exceptions to
And I'm not married, so I can't really speak on this on a marriage level. However, on the relationship that I've been through and things that I've learned, and I take it into with my children and with my friends and family and relationships. So this is still good no matter what situation you're in.
Yeah. Love your neighbor is family or not family. It's all of us. But again, Shonna, thank you for bringing that up, because I've been accused over the years of advocating that especially women stay. You're getting beat too bad. You signed on, you stay on. No. Or, I know he loves me, but I can't blame him for wanting to spend weekends with other ladies from time to time. It's not. It's not okay.
No, it's not.
And so if the conditions are not going to change, if the person's behavior is not going to change, I think you absolutely need to leave that relationship.
I agree.
No question about it. So,
Yeah.
And marriage is, I always tell people too, marriage is an ideal. All of the things in the Bible are ideal. Do we ever get all of them checked off the box? No. It's a book of ideals. We work towards that.
Right.
Sometimes marriage does not work out. It's ideally, that's what God wants, but we live in an imperfect world. Sometimes we're in a relationship that's one-sided, and, it happens.
Yeah.
And we need to accept that.
Having said that, it does trouble me over the years as a mediator. Couples divorce, you know what? Yep. Best thing you can do. Mm-hmm. I also saw couples getting divorced over that. Over the way they squeeze the toothpaste, over the way they put the toilet paper on, if they put it on at all. I mean, come on, I'm being facetious with you, but over very fixable problems. Yes. And that's a shame. That's a shame. Because like you said earlier, Shonna, they're going to find somebody else and they're going to bring those same faults. And after the glow wears off, which only lasts 2 years or less.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You'll find yourself in the same situation. There you go. Yep.
Well, keep going.
Oh, how much time do we have, really?
Well,
we're just enjoying this.
This is great.
It's however much time you have, Ron.
Yeah.
Oh, so we're not even recording. We're just visiting, huh? Is that
Go ahead. Let's
give us a little more.
Yeah.
A little more.
All right. Where should I go now? Commitment. Let's go there. That's the C in the play nice in your sandbox at home.
Okay.
Commitment's an interesting quality. There's a better word for it. It's not coming to me right now, but a guy named Scott Stanley out of the University of Denver. He has an organization called Prep Inc., which I've learned a bunch from those folks. He talks about two different kinds of commitment. There's dedication commitment and there's constraint commitment.
Now, interesting.
Dedication commitment is, you know what? I'm not going anywhere. I'm not looking. I am happy with you. You're meeting my needs. I enjoy meeting your needs. Life is good. I am dedicated to you. I am committed to you. Rock on. Constraint commitment is, I'm not very happy right now. I don't like the way things are going. I think I might want to end this, but oh man, what's that going to cost? What's family going to say? What might it do to the children? All these other factors that say, you know what? I'm not very happy, but leaving is not my best option. So I'm committed to you. And we need both. We need those. Again, there are times when you're not happy in the relationship. Okay. Stick it out. do some different things, get help if you need to, go see a counselor or a coach or whatever, read books, do whatever you need to do to get back to the dedication
I got you.
commitment. It's an interesting concept, isn't
you
it?
said it in the beginning, start playing more. I really think that's huge in life, man. Let's start playing more. We get so serious.
Yep. Yep.
And-
And just go for a walk. Here's one I'll share on that note.
Good.
I didn't have this when I wrote the book, but I love it. Sit down sometime and write down 100 memories of your individual life. And don't get hung up on 100 if it's 80, 60, 40, I don't care. But think back over your life. Your graduation from high school or college, your first job, your first date, your marriage, the birth of your child, a favorite trip you went on, just whatever. What memories, as you look back over your life, put a smile on your face. They bring you joy. So everybody writes down their list.
Okay.
And then you come together, you turn off the TV, you turn off the phones.
Yes.
Sorry about that. and you say, all right, what's your number 6? Oh, number 6. And you don't just read it off. Oh, it was the time we went to the Grand Canyon. Don't do that. Oh, that was the time we went to the Grand Canyon. Remember, we were going and we got that flat tire and it was raining and we didn't care. We were laughing. And remember those people that came by to help us, how wonderful they were. We ought to reach out to them and thank them again. And then we got to the Grand Canyon and you relive, you re-experience.
I love that.
That memory.
I love
rekindles, that. It rekindles the joy.
That connection is made again. I love that.
Beautiful word. So then that person calls on somebody else. All right, what's your number 15? Number 15. Wow. Oh, that's the cruise we took to the Bahamas. Remember, the boat was awful choppy for a while, but then it got to be so smooth. And we met those people and we did that shore. And you get excited all over again.
Yeah.
Neat.
And that's part of playing. Yeah. Oh, I love it. 100 item. And again, have the kids do it. Now, if your kids are young, they're not going to have anywhere near 100.
Right.
I don't care.
Yeah.
What's one of your favorite memories so far? And it's a good way to get to know your kids. Let me give you one more on that line. High, low, learn. High, low, learn. Please don't ever ask a school-age child, what'd you do in school today? Nothing.
Right.
What'd you learn today? Nothing.
Nothing.
You play high, low, learn. And everybody participates. What was the high point of your day today? What happened today that you're pleased with? What was the low point? What it doesn't have to be huge, but what wasn't so good today? And what did you learn today? What's one thing that you learned today? And you go around as a family and everybody shares high, low, learn. Again, connection, Shonna, one of my favorites.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we do that with our teams when we go, when we take teams to Kenya. At the end of the day, we, have a decompress and okay, what was the high point? What was the low point? And it's a really insightful thing. Yeah. For all of us to digest, and that's great.
High, low, learn. These are great practices.
And one more real quick. There's a lady named Michelle Weiner Davis. I used to go to these marriage conferences every year where I learned from the best of the best of the best. I'm serious. It was a feast.
It comes through.
That's the way to become the best. That's great.
Michelle Weiner Davis, she's a guerrilla divorce buster, she calls herself. She says, if your marriage is not where you want it to be, if you don't feel love for each other, go back and do the things that you were doing when you first fell in love with each other. Now, that's assuming they were legal then and they're legal now. They were moral and ethical then, and they're still moral and ethical now. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We used to go on picnics. When's the last time we went on a picnic? We used to go for walks at Berg Park. When's the last time we went for a walk at Berg Park?
Yeah.
Force yourself if you have to, but go do those. Hold hands. Act as if you're in love with each other. Those feelings will rekindle, because feelings come and feelings go, and feelings can be deceiving.
If they go, they can come back.
They can come back. That's exactly right. So go back and do those things that when you first fell in love, you might just find the love there waiting for you. I love that tip.
Yeah.
Give us one more.
One last
the biggie. Give us your home run piece of advice?
All right. I'll do that. I'm going to go to the at work book.
Okay,
Because
good.
you said this earlier, Ronna, relationships are relationships.
That's right.
100% of what I wrote at work is applicable at home and at church.
Mm-hmm.
Probably 80% of what I wrote at home is applicable at work and at church. You know, the part about sex and parenting, that's probably not applicable at work.
Right.
Or church for that matter.
Right.
And probably 50% of what I wrote at church is applicable at work, at home. Some of the, when I get into the deeply Christian matters, you know, not appropriate in a workplace, perhaps, although, yeah, some can. But anyway, but in the at work book, the A chapter is assume good intent. Now, ladies, I'm going to put you on the spot here. Don't get nervous. It's easy. I want you to raise your hand if this is true. Okay? Have you ever hurt, frustrated, disappointed, or offended another human being when you really didn't mean to? What took you so long?
I know, right? Probably on a daily basis, I do that.
I don't know about that, but yeah, I do this in a group setting, and every hand just shoots up.
Sure.
Well, what's the chance then, if somebody is just hurt, frustrated, disappointed, or offended you? Maybe they didn't mean to.
Has nothing to do with you.
But if you react, you created the argument. It's always the second person that creates the conflict, not the first.
Very good.
The first is going to do or say whatever they do or say, probably because they're hurting. Probably because they're hurting. Hurting people are going to hurt people.
That's right.
So true.
And you can either react to the offense or you can minister to the pain. A guy named Ken Futch wrote the book, Give It Your Best Shot. When somebody says something that he finds offensive, he's formed the habit of saying, well, that sounded like an attack. Is that how you meant it? But again, notice very calmly. You can't say, well, that sounded like an attack. Is that how you meant it?
It's a clarifying question, but you also have to have the tonality.
Exactly right.
Clarifying question.
Right. But if you ask that, the person's probably going to say, you know what? No, I'm sorry.
I didn't mean it that way.
I didn't mean
or
it
I
that
had
way.
a bad day, or my boss yelled at me, or I'm hungry. I'm hungry, and I get crazy sometimes.
Ronna, would you go make lunch, please? And
Yeah, no, it's true.
When she's hungry, you better find some food.
Yeah,
Quick.
But if we can form that habit of assuming good intent, especially at home, where we know that people love us, they care about us, they don't want to hurt us. They don't wake up in the morning going, how can I make life miserable for my loved one? Come on. But again, if they're distressed about something, they're going to take it out on whoever's in striking distance, and that's probably going to be you as their family member.
Yeah. They feel that they feel safe around us, you know?
Ron, wow.
I know.
Wow.
Let me finish that sentence. I'll turn it back to you. That's your opportunity to stay within yourself. And I'm not saying it's easy, but you can do it. You can do
Practice.
it. Especially if you stay in your thinking
Just
brain.
like you're not good at softball right away. You practice. This is a practice.
You got it. Great point. So assume good intent. Let your first assumption mean, you know, they probably didn't mean it that way, or you know what? I wonder what's going on in their life that caused them to act that way.
That's right.
I'm not saying make excuses for bad behavior. I hope I would never say that.
I have a question, Ron. What happens though if it feels so attackful that you yourself go into the amygdala, fight, flight, or freeze? And is that when you say, okay, I'm going to need a second to walk away? Because sometimes it feels so heavy that you can't even process it within your own body.
That's when you own that. You own that. You say, you know what?
You own it.
Wow. At the moment, I'm not at my best right now. Hey, before we make things worse, give me a few minutes. I'll come back. I promise. I'll be back in a half an hour. I'll be back in an hour. But right now, I don't want to have an ugly conversation.
Okay.
So
and then if you're calm and you're not going through that, you can just clarify, hey, that felt really attackful. Did you mean it like this?
Right. And chances are you won't even have to do that, because the person will come to you and say, you know what? I don't know why I said that. I'm so sorry. Can I have a hug? And conflict's prevented.
Yeah.
That's all. So
I want people to know where they can get your books. Tell them.
I don't know.
You don't know? Amazon?
Call the mayor.
Call the mayor.
The governor.
Governor.
If you're local here in Farmington, get them from me. I sell them cheaper, but they're online. But I sell them cheaper. Ron at ronprice.com is one way to get a hold of me.
Okay.
If this sparked a question in your mind about a relationship that you're facing, I'll talk to you. Call me 505-324-6328. I can't give you hours and hours and hours, and I may not be able to talk to you right then, but I won't turn you away. God's put on my heart to help people in relationships. Good. And so again, Ron at ronprice.com or 505-324-6328. If you're struggling in a relationship, don't put it off. Call me or call somebody else. Get the help. Get to a better place.
Yes.
And then who knows? You'll be able to help somebody else down the road who's going through what you're presently going through now.
Absolutely. Oh man.
But can you get your books on Amazon?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Cool. And we just want to thank you so much.
That was awesome.
And our episodes of The Bag Lady will be on our website, so people can go back and look at these or tell a friend about them. And man, if you're an organization, a church, or whatever, you want to have this guy come and speak and share and get his book. Buy the book for some friends, for people that are about to get married, or for your spouse, or whatever. This is incredible stuff. And we really want to thank you. You have really enriched our time together. And I know that our listeners are going to really get so much out of it. And wow, muchas gracias.
Yeah.
And God bless you. And God's using you and going to continue to do so. And we just really, really thank you. She's going to say 3 things.
Oh, I'm going to say 3 things.
You're going to say.
And now she's going to tell me what I'm going to say. We need some relationship coaching if we're going to be on this show together. Not want to be told what to do. Okay, Ron, what's your favorite color?
My favorite color? Probably blue.
Okay. Favorite food?
Favorite food? I probably should say green chili since I live.
There you go. That's good.
And then out of these probably tons and tons of books you read, what is your favorite book?
The Bible. No.
Yeah.
No, I'm serious. The Bible.
Oh, that's right. That's good.
Oh, that should come to mind. Warrior at Heart. Every man should read Wild at Heart. I'm sorry.
Wild at Heart.
Oh, no, I'll answer that. It's by John Bevere. It's called The Bait of Satan. In fact, I preached about that at Emmanuel Baptist Church several years ago.
Oh, my goodness.
We are dead to self. We're crucified, dead to self. We've given up all our rights. The bait of Satan is to take back those rights. How dare you do that to me? How dare you treat me that way? Don't you know I am? Don't you know I have rights? The Bait of Satan by John Bevere, Bevere. I love to spell his name.
Cool.
Great.
Well,
outside of the Bible, that's probably,
You've left us with
so
a wealth
much,
of things.
so much. This was awesome. Thank you.
And we're going to have you back.
As long as you turn off your phone next time.
I know.
How rude.
How rude.
Play nice in your sandbox with Ron Price. Thank you so much. We'll have you back again sometime.
Thanks, Ron.
I'll look forward to it. God bless you, ladies. Thank you.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was a great interview. I'm sure you guys got a lot out of it. How about you,
Oh,
Shonna?
so much fun. I love the piece. I mean, I love so much of it. I really enjoy the practical parts. So when he said, everybody write down their favorite memories with one another, that just creates so much connection. And I ended up using that for my son's 18th birthday. And it was just fun to get to share with him memories that we've all had with him. And just seeing that joy, I see how that could help any relationship that we're in.
Ron Price, I mean, he really knows his stuff. Love his books, and so hey, I think that was a great interview.
Great interview.
We want to talk a little bit about our bags because we sell bags to help our causes. What are our causes? Empowering women, helping them with housing, with water, with education. And every time you buy a bag, you're helping these causes. These are really nice handbags.
They're really cute.
Yeah, we've got all different varieties and kinds for any taste or any occasion or any age. And you're just going to love them. So please go on to our online store at bagladyshow.com, order a bag, and you're going to enjoy the bag and get a lot of use out of it. And you're going to be helping a cause.
Yes. And don't forget to like us on Facebook, share us, subscribe to our YouTube, Instagram. And we love that you're here being a part of this Bag Ladies tribe. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much. And let me tell you just a little bit about next week's show. And that will be Thursday, February 25th, always at 9 o'clock Eastern Time, 6 o'clock Pacific Time. And just mark it on your calendar because we're going to have a great time. You're going to learn a lot, and we're going to be able to help a lot of people. So hope to see you all next week. And
Make sure.
let me put in one little other
You
thing.
put it in, woman.
Let's crush it for compassion this week.
That's what I was just about to say.
Oh, okay. Well, let's crush it for compassion this week. Let's buy a bag. Let's help a cause and change a life.
That's right. Crush compassion and have a beautiful day.